So when you're out on an RV trip, it's really handy to have a Jeep you bring along behind to get out and explore while you park your RV. Only problem is, you can see we didn't bring our Jeep. They brought a Jeep, they brought a Jeep, the next one down there has a Jeep, a couple down there has a Jeep. Lots of them have Jeeps, and we don't. So today, we're going to solve that problem in a way that you might not expect. Actually, I just realized it's a way you completely expect, because you already saw the title and the thumbnail and all that. So while the RV folds up all its jacks, yeah, I'll tell you, we are buying a Jeep to give away to one of you. But this is the beautiful view we woke up to here at Bay Point RV Campground. I think all the jacks are folded up, so we're gonna hit the road, go pick up our new Jeep, well, someone's new Jeep, and see what we got. So we loaded up the RV, drove down here to Gold Beach, and we bought us a Jeep. We've got it hooked up to the back of the RV here. We already drove it into town, got some ice cream. Now we're gonna head back up to Coos Bay, back where we're staying, which is actually over there, and enjoy the rest of our trip here on the coast with this Jeep. We made it back to our waterfront RV spot here. We got the Jeep unhooked, and we're gonna go over this whole thing and what it is and what we're gonna do to it and what we're gonna do with it, of course. But for now, we're just gonna enjoy the rest of our couple of days we got over here on the coast, and we're gonna use this to do it. Show that again. Every breath in and out. Oh, don't worry, I got it on this camera. Not the worst view ever from a campsite, though, huh?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely camped in worse places than this.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, we got a backup time lapse on this one. So we made it back home, and now we're gonna go over the Jeep itself, go over how I'm giving it away, and most importantly, go over why and what the whole goal is with this whole thing. So this is a 1985, just like me, CJ7. It has the 4.2 liter straight six, 4-speed manual transmission with the Dana 20 transfer case. That's an AMC Model 20 rear end with the Dana 30 front. There's chromoly axle shafts, Detroit lockers, and 488 gears, front and rear. So drivetrain wise, this thing is set up really, really well. I don't know how big the lift is on it, but it's also got, in addition to the suspension, looks like about a 2-inch body lift on it too. 35-inch tires. It's got your Nerf bar running boards on it. Bumper on the back with hitch receiver. LED lights all the way around. Light bar on the front. 2 LED pod lights down here. Light bar on the bumper there. It does have a winch on it. And, well, you can see kind of what caught my eye about this thing first. But what sold me on it was not the paint setup here. What sold me on this one is the interior. Look at the interior of this thing. Have you seen like a out Jeep, not like a show Jeep, that has this clean of an interior, aside from the goldfish that Riley spilled on our trip back there? But it's got a full cage in it. Every single one of the knobs, switches, everything in here works. All the heater duct controls, everything works. Only 2 things that don't work are that temperature gauge and that fuel gauge, which is okay because you have another temperature gauge here and another fuel gauge over there that do work, so all good there. It has onboard air on it right here, so you can air your tires up after airing down for the trail. And it does need, I'm going to put some new tires on it because these ones are starting to get some of that dry rot crack in them. And they got good tread on them, but they're starting to get that dry rot crack in them, and I would hate to have it blow a tire. So I'm going to put new tires on it. There's a couple little wiring things I'm going to clean up. And then the rear pinion seal right there's leaking oil to the point where it'll drip on the ground. So I don't want it to have any dripping leaks. I want to get all that fixed. And then other than that, this is just a turnkey have fun rig that is just incredibly clean. So just some little TLC stuff that it needs, and this thing is ready to just go out and enjoy. Now for the how I'm giving this thing away part, and I moved it over here out of the sun because that sun shadow is making real weird stuff, and I realized I should have done that first, but I didn't. Anyway, for the how I'm giving away, this is probably the part where you're expecting me to say, for every $1 you spend on my website, you're going to get 1 entry, and if you spend $100, you get my 1,000,000 entries, and we're not doing any of that. We're actually making this really simple. I'm not going to use this as a way to try to sell crap that you didn't really want to buy in the first place. How I'm giving this thing away is very simple. This is being given to one of my Patreon supporters. And if you go on to my Patreon right now, get signed up for as little as $1 per month, you'll see a poll on Patreon that has the 5 contenders to win this and what they're going to be doing with this Jeep, how they're going to enjoy it. And you can vote for who wins. I don't pick, it's not random. The patrons get to vote on who wins it, and how this is going to work going in the future, because I don't want this to be only one. I want to do this much more often. I would love to do this once a month, and Patreon is how we're going to pull it off. So go on Patreon. It's $1 a month at the minimum, the lowest tier, and you'll see the poll. You'll see the 5 contenders that have been chosen, and you get to vote on who gets to have this thing in their driveway. So now for the why I'm giving this thing away and what kind of the whole goal with this is I've had a couple ideas that I've wanted to do with Patreon for quite a while now, and the reason I haven't started any of those is I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with, but I think I have that figured out. Number one is, on this channel I like to help people, and I like to promote helping people, just doing good things for other people. And the other thing is have fun with life. Those are the 2 things I like to promote. If you actually go look at the about section of my channel, it just says at the top there, be a good person and have fun with life. Those are 2 things I want to promote. So the being a good person and helping people thing, I thought it would be an amazing idea to take Patreon, which I've had a Patreon account for this channel almost since the beginning, and I've never once pushed it. But there are people on there who are supporting, who have gone and sought it out on their own and chosen to support. And that says a whole lot about those people. So what I thought would be a really cool thing to do is promote Patreon, and basically whatever Patreon gets in a month is my budget for the next month to help someone. And my original thought was like, man, I had to go pull this person out of the ditch with my wrecker in the snow because they got bald tires, so they slid off into the ditch. Well, why you got bald tires in your truck in the middle of winter? Like, they couldn't get new ones before wintertime. Okay, let's go down to the tire shop. Let's get you some new tires so that you don't have to call me again, and you and your family are safe driving around your vehicle. I want to be able to do that like regularly because I see it all the time. But then I thought we can do bigger than that. We can. Someone's got they've got almost enough money to get into that apartment, but just can't quite come up with that big down payment, and I want to be able to help them with that. Or someone who's got a pile of medical bills over their head that's just stopping them from making that next step and really getting ahead in life. I want to take that out. I've been that person. I want to help someone out with something like that. And that can expand so much farther. And I would love for what Patreon brings in a month to be the budget to help people the next month. And all of that Patreon money goes to funding that project. Now, I've got YouTube ad revenue in my business. That'll be my income. But for funding that project, that's what Patreon's for. That's one of the things I want to do with Patreon. The other one is I love old Jeeps. My first vehicle was a 1978 CJ5 with a 304 V8 in it, a 3-speed on 33s, and that was the worst, best teenager vehicle I could have ever had. I absolutely loved it. I don't know how either me or that Jeep lived through that, but we did. So one thing that just makes me feel good in my soul, I just love doing, is taking an old Jeep and cruising around and exploring the woods or the desert. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do. And I want more people to be able to experience that. And I also see lots of old Jeeps like this one that just need a little TLC, a little fixing up, just sitting and not getting used. And there's so many of those old Jeeps sitting around, and there's so many people out there who could enjoy them and really have fun with them. And I want to be able to just connect the two. So I would love to be able to, same kind of thing with Patreon, is whatever it makes in a month, that's my budget to go find an old Jeep and buy it and do that TLC stuff and fix it up, and then connect it with someone who could really use it and enjoy it. So both that Jeep gets to go out and do what it was meant to be doing, and someone else gets to enjoy that feeling of just outside, enjoying the woods, enjoying nature, enjoying even cruising town with the top off with their family in an old Jeep. I that's the other thing I want to do with Patreon, and trying to decide which direction to go is a lot of the reason I haven't gone any direction yet. And then I started thinking and realizing, why can't we do both? I think we can do both. I think we can do this in a way where we do these vehicle giveaways. I would love for it to be once a month. And we spend a certain amount on that. And then everything that it brings in beyond that, we use to help others in some other way. And I want the community we build on Patreon to be what makes this happen and who chooses how this all works, not me. So on the helping people side, I want the community we build on Patreon to be who chooses who we help. And if someone like knows of someone that's in need of something, they pitch it on there. That's how we can figure out who we can help with things. And as far as the vehicle giveaways, the Patreon community is who chooses who they go to, not who can spend the most money on merchandise and crap like that. It be specifically chosen people by the other patrons. That's why right now, if you go on Patreon and sign up, the lowest tier is $1 a month. You can vote on, you can see the 5 people, we took 5 people who commented with what they would use this old Jeep for and how they would enjoy it. And we put a poll there, and we're letting you patrons decide who it goes to and how it will be used. And I think doing it that way, where the community on there is what's making those final decisions and choosing the directions this goes, is a much better way to do it because it's us doing it. It's not just a me thing. It's us all together doing this and making this happen. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go check out Patreon. I'll put the link to it right down below here. Get signed up. It's $1 a month at the lowest tier. If you'd want to support more than that, that would be amazing. But lowest tier is $1 a month. And you'll see the poll for this giveaway, and you'll get to help choose who this Jeep goes to, and then you'll be eligible for the next one. And I'm not sure what the next one is just yet because we don't know how big this is going to go, how quick yet, and that's going to determine a lot of the direction this takes, along with your guys' helping me choose the direction this takes. So go check it out. I'm super excited about it. That the Patreon is what paid for, well, half of this Jeep. Basically, since I've had the Patreon for the 2.5 years of this channel, I've never actually withdrawn anything from it. I've just let it all build up in the Patreon account, and I pulled it all out at once, and that money over 2.5 years of accumulating is what paid for half of this Jeep, and then I pretty much matched that for the other half to make this purchase, and now we're giving it back to the people who have been supporting this whole time. And I would love for those people supporting on Patreon to continue to get something back out of it more than just my normal YouTube videos. So go check it out. I'm really excited about this project. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I was just so stuck on which direction to go, and now I think we just take it right down the middle. So I'm gonna take this Jeep. We're gonna do some TLC stuff to it. We're gonna fix up a few things. We're gonna drive it. We're gonna use it. It would be amazing to do a recovery with it, to really try it out and make sure that it is a turnkey, have fun rig for whoever gets selected to win it. And I'm excited. So go check it out. Thank you guys for everything you've done to support me to this point to where I can actually even think of doing something like this. I appreciate that more than you will ever know. And I'm going to keep this going. So good luck, and we'll see you on Patreon.